Yes, good morning. A special good morning to the people of Pusiga this morning. And I'd like to tell you that, yes, I'm sitting here this morning to talk about one of us, a brother. Hanan is a brother. So I would want to ask for your forgiveness if I talk bluntly, as it is, because that's how it's supposed to be. Beatrice, I was shocked to the core when I saw the list. We have lived in this country, we have seen corruption, at least I have seen a level of it during the AFRC time when Rollins came out and was mentioning the ills of people. And last night, I just told myself I wish Jerry Rollins had waited for that revolution. It should have been now. Because we have seen a level of corruption, wickedness, immorality than any other government that we have had since independence. The allegations, I know my fellow Accra will come very soon and say there are allegations. Yes, there are allegations, but there's no smoke without fire. And since this has gone through a process and the AG is telling us that this is what I have seen, we are bound to talk about it and state it as it is, as allegations. You are innocent until proven guilty. That's the law. So I am asking, what kind of a person would within, let's not say 8 years, within 6, 7 years, amass such wealth? Is it that the rest of us are not working? We don't work, so we can't acquire this kinds of wealth. You see, it just tells you the level of corruption within the society. And you ask again, why? It is because people are beginning to buy class. You understand? People in this country are beginning to buy class. That is what is worrying us. So everybody wants to live a certain lifestyle. What have you got to do with 61 designer bags? Where are you going with it? What do you understand by designer bag? You understand what I'm saying? If not for the fact that you've got cheap money, would you ever have taken that kind of money? If you were working, if your husband was working and earning 28,000, would you ever have taken that money to buy a designer bag? And for my brother to go and buy watches, it's an insult to the people of Pusiga. Why didn't you go and put up a factory there? He had money. If you went there to stand as a member of parliament and you were taking people to Hajj, you were building things, you were giving motorbikes for free, you were spending for free. People were telling me. But nobody could ask you where you are getting your money from. At the end of it, now we are being told that you are being charged for these things. Why didn't you go? If he had gone and built some factory, some school, some hospital, anything in Pusiga or any part of the northern region, apart from that hotel, which is a different issue altogether internally. But I'm talking about the people you wanted to represent. When you went there and you had all these sums of money, you had stolen all this allegedly, why didn't you go and put up a factory? I would have clapped for him. At least the people of Pusiga would have had jobs to do. But you cannot ask me to sit here and not say anything about it because he's a brother. No. Being a brother doesn't change things. Even Bill Gates doesn't wear gold watches. If you've watched, he uses cheap phones. So what is it? What is it that makes people to just want to amass wealth, everybody wants to live at cantonments? Now you go and buy a house at a chain homes where a president lives. Since when did you get that kind of money? When did you come to Accra? For you to be able to go and get a house at not any other place, but chain homes. What work have you done? Does he know how many people have been struggling? They get up in the morning from 4:30, they don't do anything, and they work so hard to get something for their families and can't even afford a decent accommodation.
But people would, you were giving an example of, for instance, using the money for developmental projects in Pusiga.
I'm saying if he had.
People would say that it's still wrong to steal money to use it for a purpose that's not designed for it.
But at least there would have been a bit or sympathy. Because the people would have said, oh, he stole the money, but he used it to make this and look for jobs for people and stuff. People would have looked at it differently. But to the extent that you stole the money and bought watches and bags, you understand, and cars, and then you go and build a hotel in Tamale, you go and build, you acquire almost all your properties in Accra, in nice places. And I don't understand why it is always government exposed, government people who get state lands. I get so pissed.
So that should tell you of the failure in the system.
Exactly.
Shouldn't it?
There is a failure in the system. Why is it that politically exposed persons, people, politicians, people who know somebody, they are always the ones who get the state lands? And these state lands don't have any problems. Yet the ordinary Ghanaian on the street, when he's looking for land, is going to Oyibi, is going to Kaswa, waterlogged. That's where they go. They who are supposed to be supported, the state does not give them state housing, and yet gives the nice places that would have made it easy for them to build to people who can afford to go to Kaswa and fill the land. Why?
How would you say, what would you tell people who would argue that perhaps we have this level of greed in the system, in this country, because the system is designed such that it's unfair to a lot of people. So anybody who gets the least opportunity want to exploit the, avenues to get as much as possible?
Apart from the system, it's our moral upbringing. You know the number of churches and mosques around this country? Everyone, most churches are preaching wealth creation, not morality. Unfortunately, Hanan is a Muslim, and Islam frowns on exactly what he's supposed to have done. Why do you go and steal money from poor people? Because look, that villager who is sitting there, the old lady who is sitting in their village and not getting enough to even go and do proper medical care, is because of this corruption. Our children were in schools not getting food to eat, and you and your wife were buying bags and watches. And you think that is good? It's not right. There was a time, there was an allegation that bags of cereals that came into the buffer stock zone were shortchanged. So you have a whole bag of 50
expired products.
We had expired products. Our children were eating expired products. I remember Zuarungu Secondary School, where they had to go and throw the whole thing out, and so many other things. So didn't you have any sense of guilt, conscience, to tell you that what I am doing, I'm being greedy? Why? I mean, I don't understand. Why couldn't you just stick to what you could afford? Why? So if we decided that, oh, okay, then everybody can, when you get to office, just chop the money as you like, then there would have been no money. There would have been no money because people came before you. So why is it that people are complaining that you have taken this? You understand? So at the end of it, I am saying that I am asking, really, not saying, but I'm asking the Attorney General to make sure that this thing is swift. The special courts should come, and that should be swift. And everyone who is involved in this must pay.
And of course, the reason people are complaining about the nature and the pace of investigations, because these things have gone on because there's no accountability, and people just continue to do what they have to do, and nobody holds them accountable.
Well, we had a failed government for 8 years. I don't think that the MPP under Nanado, I don't think Nanado was in control. And the reason why I'm saying this is because he has come out to say that one of the blind sides of him, the bad things that as a person he felt was the poverty and whatnot, the suffering that he had created for the Ghanaian with that haircut and the bond situation. So if you could sit there and these things happen and you didn't have your eye on everything else, then it meant that you were just there and everybody was doing whatever they wanted. There was this case of people being employed, I think it was the CEO of the trade fair, who went there and sacked everybody and brought her own rules, brought her own people, and nothing was done. There were so many issues in this country. But then if you look at the things that are coming out, we had somebody putting 10 air conditions in a 2 or 3 bedroom house, and we sat in this country. He ended up coming to build a house next to my house, day and night, underground, everything. And we are still, well, it's in court, and let's hope that something will be done. But all I am saying is that please, for the young people and for those who are given opportunities to serve in government, we did not give you that position to come and build a class system for yourself, where you think that you have to buy designer clothes, you have to buy designer bags, you have to buy designer shoes and designer socks, and you have to go to the best restaurants that are around. It's for those who work hard and earn their money. It's not for you to take our money and enjoy those things. It is wrong. It is criminal. And anyone who is caught must be jailed for not less than even 40 years. That's a lifetime.
And I want to come back to you, Professor Fosu-Mensah, before I come to Madam Gloria Ofori-Boadu, Auntie Gloria, who's joined us via video call. We've heard Madam Ayarna talk about the fact that the former president was not in control. That's a point you made indirectly as well when you said that the last 8 years we've had this loot to just go unchecked. Again, people will say that democracy is supposed to be the government of the people, by the people, for the people. And so the president, where he's seated, may not be able to see everything. That's why there are institutions, ensure that there are periodic audits and all of that. If you do not do that, then you get to the point where it gets to that grand stage where now you have the Attorney General coming to tell us that. So the systems that are supposed to be checking these, like I mentioned earlier, have failed, and we should be holding those individuals equally accountable. You don't think so?
Well, it's a yes or no answer.